Hello, everyone. It's Leo, and this is another episode of CinnaCast. This is going to be a different episode because we have a team of people here today. But before we introduce ourselves, I want to say that the theme of today's cast was chosen by Inu, a magical girl in the twinkle imagination level here on Magical Cinnamon. So, Inu, please enlighten us on today's theme.
So today's theme, I wanted to challenge myself and everyone else here in order to try to come up with some characters that fit the parameters which I'm about to define. So the parameters to define for this theme are we are choosing MVP support characters only. So but the rules are it cannot be a mascot, it can't be a family member, but villains or even groups of people or even a unique object can be candidate for MVP for each individual user. And also we're allowed anywhere from 1 to 2 honorable mentions, but no limit really on those. And that's about it. But we're going to go through today's episode. We're just going to go through Futariwa all the way through Smile PreCure.
Yeah, you just put us in a very tight spot by choosing those characters. And together with us, we also have Hibiki, who's a veteran here on CinnaCast.
I'm back.
And there is also someone new joining us as well. Welcome, RezaMaulana 98.
Hello. This is my first time in CinnaCast. I am both excited and a bit nervous, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's great. For the first time, we have a team of people, and we're going to have like a very interesting discussion, I think, because this is a very hard thing to talk about. And MVPs, side characters, uh, at least to me, they're characters that help the girls go through their journey, and they give us plot lines and even some special moments in the season. And when we were like when Ina decided on this theme, I thought that it might be a good idea to divide this in more than one part because there are lots of precure seasons and there's lots to talk about, right? So let's start. Let's jump right into today's theme and let's start talking about Futariwa Precure. Futariwa Precure is one of the only Precure seasons that has two seasons. So we're considering all the two seasons to talk about here. So Futariwa Precure and Futariwa Precure Max Heart. Inu, you are the one that chose this theme. So let's start with you. Who did you choose as the MVP for Futariwa Precure?
Well, realistically, there's only one person that kind of fits the bill for that, and that's Fujita Akane. Now, when she was a younger girl, she attended the same junior high school that the Precure Nagisa and Honoka attend, and she's it doesn't say what high school she went to or anything like that, but eventually I guess that she graduated and got on her. It talks about how she got on her own and such at a job, and she wasn't happy there, so she eventually opens up the taco cafe. Um, and the girls often stop by there and either just they're there to eat or to kind of think, but she's always offering advice to them and helps them with their problems. There's many situations where she's just even the little hint of advice. For one instance, the vice principal confiscates Nagisa's cell phone at one point, and Meeple was sick, and he would have died if she hadn't told him, "Hey, he's got a manga obsession. That's why he confiscates it from the students." And so they used it and blackmailed him and got him back in time. And so that's one example. She also helps Nagisa with her lacrosse, and she's kind of a big sister, protective sort of thing. And even in Max Heart, if not for the fact that she was there, would Hikari be, you know, part of the universe there? She's just an all around great support character, in my opinion. My honorable mention was Kiria. He tried to subvert the cures at first by kind of integrating with them and being friends with them, which is a common tactic that sometimes the villains use. But this was the original time that it happened. He eventually basically gives up his what was it called that they had around their necks, or the jewels?
I think they were called prism stones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He, yeah, and in order to, they basically they fought the other generals in order to get theirs, but he willingly gave his up and sacrificed his life. Eventually, they meet up with him again, when they're fighting Dark King, and he helps them, and even helps them defeat him once and for all. And at the very end, instead of dying, he's reborn as a normal human boy.
Jump in and say my only pick was Akane, but pretty much took everything out of my mouth, so
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so about Akane, I also have Akane in one of my nominations, but she is not my MVP. My MVP pick is actually Chutaro, Honoka's dog. Like, I don't know why, but I really like Chutaro. Like, his focus episode, the episode 22 of Futariwa, where he helped the lost puppy. I believe his name is Moko, or is it Miko or Moko? I'm not sure. But
I
yeah,
believe it's
he helped
Moko.
him. Thank you. Yeah, he helped him. Finding his owners, and it's just laughing. To see their thoughts being spoken as if they are human beings, and you know, Chutaro eventually discovered that Honoka, his master, is a PreCure, and he then starts to actually help the fairies as well. Like for instance, later on in Futariwa episode 40, where Belze attacks the girls who are sleeping. Like he noticed that something is wrong when Belze starts to appear and bang the door of the Honoka household to try wake up the girls, and yeah, he helped them really well in the end. And also, I really love to see when the fairies like Maple, Porun, and later on Lulun as well play with him. It's just so nice to see. Like, I want more dogs have to be having this much important part of a season.
Yeah, and Chutaro was interesting because he even appeared at the end, like the first ending of Futariwa, with they weren't dancing, they were like prancing, and he appeared with Honoka's grandmother as well. Like Honoka's family was there, and he was walking with her grandmother. That was very cute. I loved it. My pick for this season was also Akane. I found her very interesting, and even though we chose not to put family members here, I think it's like kind of cheating choosing her because she ended up being kind of like family to Hikari at some point in
Oh,
Max
that's
Heart.
so true.
But it's worth her mention because she's really amazing. She really works as a mentor to the girls, and they kind of like have a point, or like a place to go to talk about things and to just chill and to just have some like breaks and have like a little good time in the taco cafe and everything. So like she is a very important character in a way, and I really like when seasons have characters like her.
I do agree. I do agree. It's awesome because in Futari Wasaka, there's a lot of side characters like Akane, Chutaro, Kiria, Shiho and Rina, Yuka, the rich girl. There's the two cosplay makers. Was it Natsuko and Kyoko? Yeah, there's a lot of side characters. And one thing I really like about the saga, especially Max Heart, is that a lot of the side characters get their own focus episode. So like they can really, flesh out pretty well.
And I believe they got cameos in the crossover movies as well. So did Tutaro.
At that time it was easier for them to put like most characters in All Stars. Nowadays it's really hard, but it was possible back then.
Yeah, today is practically impossible. Like there's just so many characters. I have another nomination for the honorable mention, and it's Orecanos. Why? Because well, in my Twitter, I have this issue where I think the villains are all a bit too serious to my liking. But Orecanos is just a lovely goofball. Like, for instance, like there's one episode where he tried to enter the Ferrone school grounds. The vice principal came to him and basically said to him like, "Please leave the school." And Orecanos I don't know why he did it, but he actually briefly turned around and tried to leave before he realized that, oh wait, I should defeat the Predicures. The Predicures are here. Why do I leaving? And he went back. There's also another moment that I really love about him, where the girls are faking a marble screw to him. He then dodges, then realizes that the marble screw is fake, and the Sakena he summoned, just laugh at him like it brought a lot of comedy to the show. And personally, if you bring a lot of comedy to the show, you're going to win my heart a lot.
Well, I particularly love the Max Heart villains. I think they make a very good team. And the dynamic between them was very interesting because, as you said, they were very serious, but at the same time, they were taking care of a child, and like they were super protective of that child, and they tried their best to raise that child. That was like a very nice side of the villains in Max Heart.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, they do come out as perhaps a bit too serious for my liking as a whole.
Okay, well, now let's move on to the other Futariwa series, which is Splash Star. Hibiki, why don't you tell us your pick for Splash Star?
So I picked Korone, Saki's the Hyuga family's cat, who Saki found about 5 years prior to episode 1. And yeah, Korone is just a lazy cat. But he has like more importance to like the whole series and people might actually imagine. I mean, to Saki, um, like he meant so much to her. Like, and it's shown when Saki refused to listen to her parents because they were like, "No, you can't keep the cat. Like, we're too busy at our restaurant. We no bakery. We can't look after a cat." But Saki, being like around 9 years old, just runs off with Coroner because she's like so upset. Um, but luckily, the situation showed that hey, Coronet can be useful because when Saki's dad chases after her, um, Coronet notices a bicycle coming that could actually hurt Saki, so he alerts Saki's dad, who manages to like get Saki out of the way in time, and so Saki's dad realizes, oh yeah, let's keep the cat because he can be kind of like a guard cat in a way and protect his daughters. Um, aside from that, Kodane can actually like sense Dark Ball members, so he can like somehow tell the girls like, oh, there's what's his name? That gold guy. He likes coming at the book. Yeah,
Kintoleski.
Kentalinsky.
yeah, Kintoleski. I can't say his name. Kintoleski. When he comes to the bakery, he can just be like, "Oh no, he's here." um, and for a few episodes, Princess Velia takes over his body or something. So he ends up, yeah, being able to talk to the girls for a bit as Velia, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's why I like Corona, a lazy cat who's actually useful.
I love those picks. They're so different and so unexpected. I'm loving this.
What are your guys' picks? Do you guys have anything?
Well, my pick for Splash Star was Yuko, Ota Yuko, one of the friends, one of the classmates, and like the biggest difference in her character is what was that she was chubby. She had like a different body type than the rest, and she was a very cute girl, but at the same time she had like a big personality. But ultimately, I felt like she wanted to be seen as a cute girl, as someone who is deserving of love, who's deserving of attention, and because of her body, some guys didn't see her like that. She had like a crush on one of the guys that I don't remember the name. There are
I
too many
think
names
it.
to remember.
I think it might have been Kenta,
Oh,
the
and
comedian.
I feel like the dynamic was interesting. Like it started rough, but at the end, like he was able to see her heart and to see her for who she is and not judge her appearance. And I thought that was kind of sweet. And obviously, it wasn't something that was a big focus of the season, But it was nice that they used that.
And I,
Well, I guess I went with the obvious choice, which was the Carrie Sisters.
uh,
Uh, well, I felt like that was the obvious choice here, but those are good picks too. I didn't think about those. So they are of course the Carrie Sisters, which are sometimes accredited as the first redeemed cures, but that's a
not
debate for
really.
another time. Um, they actually did the same thing that Kidia did, as to get in with the girls, subvert them, get close to them, befriend them, but it sort of backfired on them. So they ended up going and actually rescuing Saki and Mai and ultimately sacrificing themselves. And of course, at the very end, when they're revived by the power of the what was it called? The fairy.
I'm not the person for names.
Yeah, I know that it's on.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
They got revived by that, and then they at the very end they received the powers of, what was it, Moop and Foop, and became, quote quote, cures, and fought alongside in order to defeat Goyen, that was his name. And then my honorable mention was Kentalinsky, because he really loved Saki's bakery, the Papa the Pan Bakery. Um, but he didn't fight like underhanded or anything like that. He fought because he wanted to fight. I don't remember what he said. I think he said more along the lines of being an honor, or being a man, or being an honorable warrior, or whatever it was. At the very end, when he was defeated, he didn't try to claw his way out of it. He just gave up his miracle drop, and just, I lost. Here you go. And I think when he was revived again, whenever him and what was the other girl's name?
Shitatari.
Thank you. I can never say that one. That one's really hard for me to say. Yeah, he ended up confessing to her, like, his love for her at the very end, right before they were destroyed. And I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cute.
Oh, yeah, that happens. I really need to rewatch Blush Star.
Yes, it did.
Speaking of Kindolesky, that's also my not honorable mention MVP. And another thing that I really love about Kindolesky is in his final episode, pre-revival, episode 40, he spots Saki throwing Mai, and well, Saki's throwing of Mai is thrown badly, and he basically went angry at Saki, like, the muscle joints are not right, the arm movements, the arm position is not right, like, it's just so funny. Like, it takes such an interest at art. And later on, when he gave the letter to Saki and also Mai about challenging him in the seashore at 10 a.m., he made a self portrait of himself, and it looked good. Like, for someone who is very much a muscular guy, he does have some art skills to have in hand with his fighting capabilities, and just being an honorable villain who doesn't want to fight underhanded.
Yeah, I think that the villains in Splash Star, they had a lot of personality. And like for me,
Just a little bit.
for me, it's even hard to choose a favorite. But I think Moerumba gets my number one. He was very flamboyant, and I just loved it. And he was also very powerful. I loved his fire powers. I love his design. I love everything about him. But in general, all of them are great, except for the first one, who's very forgettable. The other ones are all great. So it's very hard for me to choose.
Karehan.
Karehan, probably the leaf one, the
Yeah,
green one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Karahan.
that's him. Yeah.
Yes. So it's hard. Like I think I'm going to put Moerumba here as my honorable mention for this season because he's amazing. I want to be him.
Something told me that you were going to pick him. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah, but just going back to the Kidia sisters, it's interesting that you mentioned, like, I think that we even talked about it before in the CinnaCast about mid-season cures. They probably were like the prototypes of mid-season cures, and villain becoming cures, and villain being reformed, and uh, coming to the other side. So they were great characters, and overall, like they added a lot to Splash Star.
I agree. They really do a lot of stuff in Splash Star. The dynamic between them and Saki and Mai is just so good.
Let's move on to the next season, which is a double season as well. Yes, Precure 5 and yes, Precure 5 Go Go. I'm starting with my pick, and my pick was, I think it was an obvious choice as well, which is Masuko Mika, the crazy and psycho girl from the, I don't remember the club she was part of, the name of the club, but she was
Oh,
like a, she was a
it's a
Newspaper
journalist. And
club.
newspaper. Well, it's Shinbu something another club, but it's a newspaper club. Yeah.
Lumiere News Club, I think. I don't know.
yes,
It's something to that.
yes,
Well,
and
actually, it had the name of the school, which I definitely cannot pronounce. But
It's
yeah,
French in there, and I can't speak
yeah.
French.
I always spell it as Cinq Lumiere. That's it. I know it's not the right spelling, but whatever. That's how I will spell it.
so yeah, Mika was a great character. She was a lot of fun, and you know, I think that she was the first of a series of characters who would appear in later seasons with the same dynamic as her. She
And the
was
same
like,
surname.
yeah, you're right, you're right, and her name is a pun, right?
Yeah,
Maskomidi.
Well,
on
part of it is.
I don't think it's mass communication. That's what it's on. Or something.
Yeah, because
Because mass
then
with co.
the one that came after her was mass media. Yeah,
Yeah,
mass media. Yeah, Moscow Mia. Mass
yeah.
media. Yeah,
And
and then
then
of course our
Michio,
latest one.
I don't know what it's on.
Moscow Michio. Is that his
Yeah,
name?
he's Michio, but I don't know what the
Yeah,
pun is.
I don't either.
Yeah, shout out to Zoo, who loves Michio because she is the biggest fan. But
He's great. I don't get the hate.
yeah, he's awesome. He's nice, and you know, but I feel like it's important to mention Masuko Mika here because she is the
Yes,
original
the
girl.
OG.
OG.
I don't really have much to say on Yes 5 because my only pick is also Masuko Mika.
Oh, hang on. I like how Muscle Mika, or I'll just call her Mika, had like an obsession was writing articles on nuts. Like the second she sees them, she just gets all like obsessed.
Actually, I can add on to that. She was actually going after the Precures, and then she sees him, and then just totally forgot what she was doing.
Yeah, like
Oh yeah,
and
I
when
remember that.
and when she eventually talks about the cures, they just get a tiny little spot on the newspaper.
Yeah, and well, then later on in the series, she does manage to get some pictures of him. But I
Yeah,
think that was the time when the whole newspaper club was about to disband because they were tired of her doing her little antics.
yeah,
Being
and like
basically like a tabloid paparazzi.
yeah, and I think the whole article was about nuts, like which is pretty
Yeah, and then it was
interesting.
like and five mysterious girls or something like that.
Yeah, like just off to the side.
So I actually had a different MVP than all of you apparently.
I think we got the same one.
Oh, did you choose the lunch lady?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I chose as my MVP. I believe she goes by Miss Otaka or Miss Otaka-san. I think is what she goes by, or
It's a
Otaka-san.
Taka-san.
Otaka-san.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's the headmistress also of the actual school that they go to as well. She just kind of moonlights as a cafeteria lady to sort of have the hands-on experience with her students. So it's kind of a more direct, under the radar. Like if someone made
Yeah.
a suggestion in the lunchroom, she can kind of take that and mold it into policy.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because like as the principal, no one would talk to her because they're kind of intimidated. So.
Yeah, except for apparently one person, but she also, I mean, I chose her as well for Gogo because she's also a big character there, but she also ends up employing syrup into her lunch. She needed someone to watch the lunchroom at the time. I don't remember what she was doing, but so and in exchange he could eat all that he wanted because apparently he was hungry.
Yeah, I imagine she had to do principal work. Had to dash.
Yeah, probably. There was also I forget which episode it was, but Ren was having a big paradox where she needed to join a club like full time, but she was always going, she's always doing this club and that club and the sports club, and so she comes to her and says, well, you're just going to have to decide for yourself. No one can tell you what to do, but you need to decide what you want to do. She's just always there again, like Akane from Futariwa, that sort of person that steps in, that's the older adult that helps.
And it's interesting because like those big figures in schools like principals and directors and all, like sometimes or most times they don't interact very much with the students. They stay on like on their own room talking and deciding on more technical issues, but she is someone who's there. She's someone who pays attention to what's going on at the school and what's going on in the life of the student. And so she's like ready to help. And I love the mysteriousness that stays around her for quite some time in the season. So when you're watching Yes Precure 5, there's this mysterious aura around the lunch lady. Who is she? Why is she so important? And then later on you kind of understand why. And that was a very interesting narrative choice for Yes.
She sort of reminds me of the headmistress in Go Princess as well. Yume, I think, is her name.
Yeah, even though I don't think she was as present, which is a shame. I think that Shirogana girl was around more often.
I was also going to put an honorable mention on Bunby, but I decided on Mika instead. So
Wow, I completely forgot about Bumby. Fake fan.
Well, Bumby is a classic.
I was thinking of Bunby, but I figured any of you three would choose him, so I was a bit surprised that no one chose Bunby, and obviously I didn't have enough time right now to make any explanation for it. For yeah,
I was, but I backed out.
Okay, let's move on to Fresh Precure, and this time Heza will start by saying his choice.
right. So all right, let me repeat that again. All right, so Fresh PreCure is my number one PreCure season for many reasons, and one of which is this character that I have chosen as my supporting character MVP, which is Kaoru-chan. Not to be mistaken with Kaoru Kiryu, obviously, but Kaoru is important for many reasons. The most important thing is he is the provider for all of those important donuts that the girls will eat all the time. Yeah, donuts are very important in the fresh PreCure season, and he is the provider. He's the big provider, and he is also the basically the Akane, the Otaka-san of Fresh. Like he gave a lot of advice to the girls, provides them a spot for them to hang out, and he's also friendly with Tarte and Chiffon. You know, for example, when the girls are ready to go and go to Labyrinth and do their final fight, he gave he gave Tarte a parting gift, which is a bunch of donuts, and it later became somewhat. It later led to a funny moment where our team Westar and Tarte united together because of the donuts. It's just honestly one of the funniest scenes in PreCure for me. And also another thing, his laugh. Guha, I believe that's his laugh. So iconic.
And let's not forget him possibly being the fourth cure. I will never forget that scene.
Oh my god.
Oh, we can't forget him being a secret agent as well.
Yeah, he was a secret agent. I'm gonna be honest. I'll take it even further. I think he was the one that pretty much pacified Westar
You can say that.
with his donuts.
I have a correction on something that Heza said. I need to correct something Heza said because he said donuts are very important in Fresh Precure. No, donuts are very important.
Well, that's where they started the donuts. thing.
They are
Donuts
important
are
in
Yeah.
the
very
franchise.
important everywhere, and like, I need donuts in my life right now. There's no donuts in my CD.
I'll send you some.
Oh, please, please.
Now I crave for some too, and I believe the shops are about to close right now. So, yeah.
If only you could send food, like just teleport it instantly to someone.
That would be a dream come true.
What was your honorable mention?
Jin and Miyuki, the dance, the dance trainer for the girls.
Hmm.
Like, for starters, without her, the the cures will not exist because the main reason why Love was chosen as Peach is because she protected Miyuki's stage after East attacked the stage. So and then it led to Tarde and Shivan discovering that they found a candidate for Cure Peach. Love becomes Cure Peach, and that's how Fresh PreCure started. Also, another thing that I really like on her is that after she discovered that her trainees are pretty cures, which is done after she had become angry at them for uh being hospitalized, which come on, Miyuki. But that's when she doesn't know about the pretty cure stuff. But after she know about the pretty cure stuff and the fact that her trainees are pretty cures, the heroes, uh, she mellowed down. And when with a, I believe there's a dance contest that they were supposed to participate, but it got delayed. So once she realized that they're all cures and them being busy with their stuff caused them to be hospitalized because they got too tired, she cut off practice for a while and said that if you had issues with the cure stuff and anything, just just tell me. I can break things up so that you all don't get too busy and eventually get hospitalized again.
Miyuki was my pick for the MVP. I love her so much since the first time she appeared. She is one of my favorite characters in Fresh, and I absolutely love her participation overall in the season. Like, she is an important character. Just like Kaoru, she has a very big importance for the girls as well. And at one point in the series, Akarun was even debating whether she could be the fourth cure or not. She decided not to be a cure. Like, girl, how can you do that? She decided not to be a cure because she had like other stuff to do. She had important stuff for her, which was the dance team she had, and the teaching thing about dance. So like, I really like her. And as Heza said, at the point where she learned about the cures, she ended up helping them. She ended up training them for battles, using the dance and all. I found that incredible. And her personality, her design, everything about her is on point. I love it.
Yeah, I got nothing else to add.
Yeah, I had Kaoru as my MVP and Miyuki as honorable mention, but I also had the entire population of Clovertown as my honorable mention. Well, I mean, I don't say that sarcastically. I mean, the final few episodes, they all got behind the cures, but when they went to go, off to Labyrinth to fight Mobius. Uh, I think that there should also be a mention for the I don't remember what their group was called, but it was Daisuke, Kento, and Yuki. They formed the boys' dance group to go against Love's dance group. But they all three had crushes on all three of the girls. So, and they play integral parts throughout the entire series.
May I add something else? So I also have another nomination pick for MVP, and it's Westar. Like, whenever Westar's on the screen, you can bet that there is something funny is going to happen. Like I said before with Oreganos, if you provide a lot of funny moments, that's an instant win for me. And Westar definitely provides that. For instance, the witch episode, and there's also episode 26 where he tried to kill to the page, but ends up on the wrong train, and he's dressed in going to the beach and goes in the mud and like, oh Westar, like why? Another of my favorite moment of him is when they go in, I believe that's episode 39. It's it's the Love and Daisuke episode in when they were having the study tour. Uh, the girls after Setsuna teleported back to Clovertown to tell Mickey and Bookie that Love is in trouble. Setsuna teleports back, lands on top of Westar, and the girl was like, "Yep, let's just transform
Transform
on
on top
top
of
of
him.
Westar's back." Like
Poor guy.
very hilarious. I love it. 10 out of 10 comedy.
I just want to mention Solar, not him as a character, just that horrible bittersweet episode where he creates that eraser board and erases like the mums, the hamburgers, just everything. Solar, why?
Well, we can't forget the episode where he had the hidden bag of chips in his jacket when Westar
Oh,
was
right.
starving.
The
Oh
cat,
yes,
the taco episode. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the villains in Fresh were really good, except for Klein. He was kind of but
There's just so much hijinks going on with the fresh villains, and I love it.
Well, I have to give a honorable mention to Northa because I think like every time you're wondering on how to do a good villain, just look at her. You know, Northa is
she's
she's like
scary.
she's really scary. She's like the perfect villain. You know, oh, I need to create a villain for my story. Watch Fresh and pay attention to Northa. Like she is incredible. Okay, now let's move on to Heartcatch PreCure. Hibiki, tell us your pick.
Okay, so I'm picking Nanami, the girl from the Mother's Day episode. So she's the older sister of Rumi, and I think when Rumi was like, I don't know, a few months old, and Nanami was like, I don't know, probably 10, um, their mother died. So ever since her mother died, Nanami took on the mother role for Rumi. And like the way she tried to be mature around Rumi, it's just so sad and kind of relatable sometimes. And when she fakes the smile without actually really knowing why to Rumi, because like it hurt. But it's also sad how much she like misses her mother, but she can't really say it to Rumi because she doesn't want Rumi to like, I guess, feel bad for not being able to know her mum. So like when she can express that to Rumi after she gets purified by the cures, it was like really nice to see. Um, in the flashback when it shows how Nanami got the impression that smiling is important came from her mum. Thought that was like really nice. My honorable mention, which is Bun Kenji, everyone's favorite manga artist. So when people first look at him, they think he's like really scary and all that, but he's actually like really kind and couldn't hurt a fly if he tried. So when Poppy is like trying to find her partner, he walks up to Kenji and is all like, "Do you want to be the third cure?" And Kenji, who at the time is trying to think of a third cure for his manga, is like, "Well, really? I can be like a cure?" So he instantly thinks, imagines himself as Cure Fire, our fake first male cure. One of our
Legendary.
and like I this scene's pretty funny because of when like Poppy starts flying away and people are like, oh my god, he's floating. But back to Kenji. He's just a great character, like his insecurities of not knowing if his mum will support him, but when she finds out she does kind of thing. It's like so nice. He's a great character. Really funny, and I like his interactions with Sabomi. Very nice.
Yeah, Kenji, he was my pick for MVP for Hardcatch as well. I really like him. And, you know, Cure Fire, it's just really something, like
Legendary.
legendary. He is part of the Precure, uh, the Precure legend. He's definitely up there. He's definitely up there. And there is something interesting about side characters in Heartcatch, because Heartcatch gives a lot of space for side characters. In lots of episodes, they're the focus, and we see their stories and all. Like, we see their growth, and we see a little bit on them, because they're going to be the victim of the day. So we need to understand who they are. And at the end of Heartcatch, before the last battle, when the world becomes like this big desert, everybody turns into crystals except the ones that have been captured before and turned into monsters in previous episodes. So I feel like Heartcatch gives a big importance to side characters in this sense. It was very nice seeing like all of those characters not turned into crystals at the end of the series. And
Yeah, they don't pull a Yui.
yes. And I
Oh
liked
god.
that. That was something that Heartcatch did that was like very unique.
So my MVP is probably going to get jeered at, but I chose the Mirage Pretty Cure squad as the MVP because in them going into the silhouette challenge, the idea was they were going to be granted the Heartcatch Mirage, toy item, uh, but they had to complete a challenge. There was 3 challenges, but the main one was you basically had to face yourself, your past self. That was part of the silhouette trial, and each one was different. So like for instance, Moonlight had to face her regrets of losing Cologne, and her well, she didn't lose her father in that. She didn't know that yet, but she just felt that was all her fault, and she tried to and the Mirage character tried to convince her that you can't move forward. There's too much sadness, but no, she said no. I'll take my sadness and I'll take it and I'll turn it into love. Same with Sunshine. Sunshine has her insecurities about her girlish side, and she has to, she feels like she has to take on the weight of her older brother who can't, uh, you know, fulfill the future of her dojo because of his sickness. Modern had an issue with being jealous of her older sister, who is more successful and etc. A fashion model. So she had to confront that, and then of course Tsubomi has to confront her unconfident self in order to move forward. And of course, she was the last one to come out. Um, so that was my MVP character. My honorable mention, that's probably not one that you guys even thought of either. Was I chose the heart tree because everything revolved around it. All the heart flowers are connected through the heart tree, and it's impossible for the heart tree to exist and the pretty cure to exist. They're both tied together. So as long as there's pre-cure, the heart tree will exist.
Inu is coming with the most out of the box picks for all of the seasons. I love this.
And I mean, the heart tree did give life to Potpourri and gave Yui back her powers, and it is a living entity because they do talk to it.
For my pick for Hardcast MVP, it might be a little bit cheating, but I chose the entire fashion club of the school. What I love about the fashion club is just the growth that they have. Like at the start of the season, it was basically nearly gone. Like only Erica is there, no one is joining. Then Subomi joins, and the club rises up to the top slowly but surely. They are rising to the top of the academy as one of the best clubs to join. And there are a couple things that make me love them more. Is first of all is episode I believe 16 when the drama club challenges Erica to make the best design that they have, so that the drama club and the fashion club can have a sort of a duel between the designs. And it made the drama club's leader Azusa, I believe that's her name, realizes her mistake after her attitude being a bit pushing everyone to the maximum doesn't really being the best for the club. Everyone leaves, and it made her realize her mistake. And in the end, with the help of the fashion club, helps the drama club to rebuild themselves. And also, obviously, about the fashion club, we can't ignore episode 35 and episode 36, the stage, the heart goes on stage, as I would like to call it.
That was a good episode.
It sure is.
Well, and I think that it's worth mentioning, just as a honorable mention, Sasorina was a queen in this season. So just need to give her a shout out.
Also, about episode 36, it does lead up into the movie as well. They went to France with the fashion show.
Okay, let's move on to the next season. It's Sweet PreCure, and our musical song stress is going to start. Hibiki.
It's no secret that I love Sweet PreCure, and about a few days ago, you may or may not have seen me do a fun fact about Sweet, which it had fake cures, and these two fake cures had fans wondering back in 2011 if they were Seika and Wowon. So I'm picking Seika and Wowon as my MVPs, and I'll start with Seika. So everyone knows her as the Princess of Sweets, who's the president of the Sweets Club that Canada is a member of. So unlike Seika, unlike Wowon, she doesn't really do as much, but when she's in the series, she is thought to be the masked cure muse by Canada. She even participated in protecting Fari from Trio de Minor in episode 41. I think she brought like a bowl of cupcakes. I can't remember, but that's just classic Seiko. She then got hypnotized by noise, or yeah, I think it was noise, to steal the cure modules. And last but not least, people thought she was going to be Cure Symphony, even though I don't think she was going to be. I think there was like some different name on the scan, but who knows. Anyway, then we move on to Wound, the the person who appears more often, but she's very close with Hibiki, probably due to them being on the same soccer team. Not quite sure, but makes sense. Whenever like Hibiki really needs Wound, she like whistle and then she'd appear. Like she wouldn't even like question it. She'd be like, "Yeah, what do you want, Hibiki? What do you want me to do?" And like she has like so many connections. So if Hibiki like, for example, needs this piano moved, Wound can just go, "Hey, you guys, can you move this piano for my friends?" Um, what else? So pretty much like Seika, she got Hibiki thought she might have been Cure Muse, and that she helped out was protecting Fari. And to add on, in that same episode, she had her own special attack called Wound Hyper Special Shoot to make sure Bass Drum can't get his hands on the real Fari, which I thought was like such a nice added bonus. She too gets hypnotized by noise to steal the cure modules, and fans thought she was going to be the fake cure beat, because if you look at this fake cure beat, she literally kind of looks like a Wound, but was maybe longer hair by like an inch, and just having the same kind of appearance and color motif. Wound and Seiko are just great characters, because even though they may not appear as much, they're there for like maybe comedic relief and just to help Hibiki in Canada. Like they're just awesome.
For me, my MVP pick isn't Seika or Wan. It's Ochi Masamune, the senior of the senior student of the school, Kanada's crush, and someone who Ellen had an affection with. So about the Ellen stuff, it all began when I believe it's episode 10 or so. Seiran was about to get run over by a car. OG saw Saren, the cat, nearly got run over, ran to Saren and save her, and that gave Saren or Ellen, or whatever you want to call her, a long-lasting impression for her, which it made him a, quite a target in around episode 15 when I believe there was a what was it? There's an event at the school. I forgot what's that event name. Can someone remember what's that event is?
Oh, it was OG Summer's birthday.
Yeah, that
She
one.
was trying to
Oh
like
yeah,
keep him
yeah.
away from his birthday because she wanted to like um get back at the cures. So
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
yeah.
So yeah, Saren made OT fell asleep, and it led to perhaps one of my perhaps my favorite funny moment of Sid, where OT sleeping falls into Satan and falls right into Satan the cat. And later on, when the cures arrive, Kanadi discovered that OT has been affected by Satan, and it led to this interesting quarrel between Kanadi and Satan, where Kanadi's like Takara 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 OT senpai OT senpai OT senpai. Meanwhile, Satan was like, "You're annoying, you're annoying, you're annoying" to Kanadi. Like, it's just so funny to watch.
How did she say annoying again? Because it's like just so fucking funny.
Oh,
so
it was
so
some sort of slang that I don't even know what it is.
I want to try and imitate it, but I can't remember it. I'm so pissed off.
I don't have enough really to add to Sweet because you guys have taken all of mine, so I'll have to pass on mine.
Well, my peak on Sweet are Rena and Arisa. I don't think they're big characters and they don't even appear much, but I like they are going through what Kanade and Hibiki went through in the past that made them apart from each other. Like it kind of shook their friendship because they were supposed to meet at the sakura tree at the entrance of the school, but there were two different sakura trees, and one was waiting in one, the other tried to meet them on the other tree, and so they uh, lost each other, and so like this big miscommunication ended shooking their relationship, shooking their friendship. And I still feel like up until today, this is something that Sweet did that was very different, and it was relatable because it's something that happens a lot, especially with teenagers, when there is a big miscommunication, and friendships get a little shaken because of that, and that's really understandable. And I really liked that for Hibiki and Kanade to notice what happened between them in the past. There were two other characters, two new girls that appeared in their same situation, and both Hibiki and Kanade were able to see through those two girls, who are Hena and Arisa, what happened in the past between them, and they were able to make those two girls reconcile and become friends again. And with that, they were able to understand that what happened with their friendship was a big miscommunication, and so like it was a step for them to start reconciling. And it obviously took a while because they kept on fighting like many times, but that's just who they are, that's just their relationship. And I like this is something like those are characters that I feel are important to the narrative of Sweet and to the friendship of those two characters.
I can actually do one honorable mention that wasn't mentioned. Bostrom and Baritone. They actually had a few moments where they fought against what they were actually for at one time. And even Faltissimo, he actually becomes good in the end, but mainly he was a spy for Noise. So I would say Bostrom and Baritone deserve a little bit of credit.
Yes, I also think Noise was a very good character at the end of the day. Noise's story about darkness and about loneliness. It was very
Yeah.
nice. It was very nice. I still feel like he's one of the best villains, one of the best big bosses of PreCure. And
Yep.
the way his narrative was created, incredible. Okay, now let's move on to the last season that we're going to talk about today, which is Smile PreCure. And for that, Reza, can you tell us your pick?
I had a little bit of an issue when I was thinking about Smile because there, apart from the villains, there isn't many that I can remember of when it comes to side characters. And eventually, I do went for the choosing a villain route for my supporting character MVP, and the one I'm choosing is Maturina because whenever her invention get lost, it will lead to 10 out of 10 comedy. Like, for instance, the tiny mallet that she lost it at episode 11, which made the girls tiny after Candy bonked them with that mallet, and the result was perhaps one of the funniest episodes in in Smile, maybe even the franchise, where now gets completely scared by insects. There's also the keyboard guys in I believe episode 29, which I also like because it relates well to those who often don't uh those who slack off their homeworks often, and also there's a racing element part of it, so that's always a bonus for me, a racing fan myself.
My God.
And there's also, I believe, episode 20, where the invention that Maturina made is making the girls invisible, and it led to problems at school where I believe I know Miyuki is one who get affected, but was it Akane that got affected as well by that invisibility stuff, whatever that
Yeah,
is?
yeah, it was me using Akane.
Okay, yeah, and it led to them wearing kendo suits, full protective suits into the store because well they can't see any, no one they can see them. So yeah. Also, it also led to the kid portion episode, which transformed the girls into babies, and the transformation scene at of them as babies is very nice. Oh, and don't forget episode 42, where she attacked the Midoriya siblings. Oh my god, what
Oh
an
my God,
episode that is!
how can you forget the episode where like Candy and Miyuki switch bodies and we get Kira Candy?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
But you guys forget about the Happy Robot one too.
Oh, wait, I forget about.
Yes.
Honestly, Majorina's episodes are the best.
That's a Maturina. Oh, that's a Maturina invention. Okay. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
was a
forgot.
Yeah, it was a little ray gun thing. I don't remember what it was called, but
Every time like Majorina appeared, you always knew it was going to be a really good episode because of her
well, it was
stupid
usually those other two
experiment.
dunces that were throwing her inventions out the window.
Well, it's interesting to look back at Smile because usually when there aren't many side characters in a season, it usually means that the season is very focused on the plot, which is the opposite case of Smile because Smile
Smi-
gives no shit to the plot of the season at
Smile
all.
just focuses on the girls.
Yeah, and then like their daily lives and everything. So I find it very interesting that this season almost has no side characters, like apart from the villains and the girls and
Family.
mascots and all.
Yeah.
There are almost none, and at least I would say that the trio of villains are very interesting, and Joker obviously is also amazing. So, like, come on, we can take that away from them. I also love Majorina, as I said. Like, Majorina is amazing. Majorina time was awesome. I loved every
Yeah,
time she did that.
remember.
That was incredible. I love that as well. But I have to mention Brian because I think that he
Yes.
was one of the only characters, right? Like from the outside that had some sort of relevance in one episode or two episodes, if you consider his letter. And it was a nice episode. It was like emotional in a way, and I don't know. I feel like he is the one that I could think of.
I'm remembering the policeman and his relationship with Majorina.
Oh my god, you're right.
I feel sorry for that poor guy. Just doing his job.
kept calling her grandma or old lady or something like that.
Yeah, they had an incredible dynamic.
Yeah, like for like a lack of supporting characters, they did have some pretty good small group.
Hibiki, did you have a pick?
It was Brian. I mean, I can add on that he helped a kind of show a different side to her, like how she kind of showed that she does kind of have a girly side to her.
Yeah, my honorable mention was Brian, and again, to add on to yours, yeah, it brought out her girly side. It also brought out, I guess, her determination, uh, for something, because like remember she ran all the way to the bus stop, and then she didn't have money, so Reka gave her money, and then somehow, somehow Miyuki had gotten ahead of her on her bicycle, and she borrowed her bicycle and then wrecked it, and then and then ran to the airport terminal, and you know she had to feel something in order to go through all that trouble. And yeah, you're right, Leo. They did have the letter episode, and it's hard not to read into that there was a little romance there.
Yeah, didn't they reunite in the manga? I don't know what they did, but
It was something like 10 years later. Uh, and I think it even mentions that they were
yeah.
living together as well. So that's kind of cool. So my MVP is going to be something that no one thought of here, and I'm going to choose Miracle Peace. Not Peace herself. I'm talking about Miracle Peace, the manga character that she invents. Like that is her ego, is her cure ego. She is the personification of her manga character. And I don't remember the exact episode number, but it was somewhere close to 40. So she ends up getting her power up, but it's only because Akoni like stole her manga. But before all that happened, she actually fell asleep drawing her manga for this contest, and she meets her she meets Miracle Peace in her dream, and they play out the exact scene that was to follow when her manga got stolen. And she said right before, she woke up, Miracle Peace said to Yayoi, said, your story doesn't end here. They acted out that entire scene up until the point where she blocked his attack, and then he started insulting her manga, and it's like, you're a crybaby, and why do you put such hope in a fictitious character, blah blah blah. And then she starts to tell, like, this is why I draw this. I love manga. I love it's my strength. And then of course then she gets her power. She receives her power up and defeats him. So I think without the fact that she had that character, you know I don't think that if she hadn't conceptualized that character, she could have been the cure that she was.
That's the most creative pick out of the whole cast. I think that's the most creative pick.
I honestly didn't think about Miracle Piece.
Well, I was actually going to try to pick a character or pick something out of the series for each of the girls, but all I could think of was Brian and Miracle Peace, and that was it.
Managed to
Yeah, I
get our
think that
picks
was
done.
it. We had a great talk about lots of seasons and lots of different characters, lots of interesting picks, by the way. So I just want to say thank you.
For
Thank
sure.
you so much, Inu, for choosing this great theme.
You're welcome. And there'll be a part 2 at some point.
Yeah, it will happen. Hibiki, thank you so much again for being here on CinnaCast.
You're welcome. I had a blast.
And thank you so much, Heza.
Thank you very much for the opportunity for be a part of CinnaCast too. I feel honored to be able to join this beautiful series.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, if you'd like to follow any of the people that are here, uh, how can they follow you, Inu? Where can they find you?
On Twitter at Baka Inibashiri.
What about you, Hibiki?
Also on Twitter, you can find me on at Oshieta Hibiki.
And Reza.
Uh, so first of all, let's about the artist side of me. So for the artist side of me, you can follow me on Twitter at RezaMaulana98 or at Instagram at RM98arts. Now I also have a website about racing. I spoke earlier when I was talking about Majorina and the gamer episode where I I said I like racing, so that's an instant plus for me. They have a card section of it. So I have this website that covers about NASCAR World and Euro Series, which I'm we're going to put the link in the description below. And if you want to follow more, you can check out at Word of NWES.
Yeah, you can notice that has is a nerd for racing.
Yeah, especially about NASCAR. It's weird that someone from Indonesia likes very much the American racing sport, but that's what I love. Over racing captures my imagination more than anything else.
Wow, that was nice. Star Twinkle reference. I love it. Anyways, I hope you all I hope you all liked this CinnaCast. And if you did, please leave a comment. Comment on your MVPs as well from the seasons we mentioned. Comment on our picks. What do you think of them? Do you have like a special character that we didn't mention? Leave on a comment and let's keep talking. Thank you so much for watching or listening. And until next time, bye bye.